Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Let me start again. Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Just make sure I've gone live here. Yes, awesome. All right, hope everyone's doing well. It's Monday again. Can you believe it? I can't. Okay. January 13th today. Good to see you all. Hope you're well. Got some pre-NAMM news to talk about with you. And answer any questions. Some people said they were going to come by with questions today, so please ask them so I can address them here on a Monday chat and everyone can benefit. All right, let's go through the chat. And I've got about 3 things I want to focus on today that have been announced today. So I'll get to that in a second, but let's start with the chat as always. Rosanna, thanks for moderating. Good evening, Aaron, everyone here in the chat. Happy Monday, you too. Bedoin, got up late here. Got up late, got here early. Oh. All you good folk from Don Wayne, waving from New Orleans. Very good to see you. I said Don. Good to see you, Don. Martin. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the new Martin releases. I haven't played them, so I don't have strong opinions on what they've done, but it might be worth talking through what they've done. More tweaks than new stuff, although there's some new stuff coming, I think, next week. Orchard Park Band. Hi, Aaron. How you doing, Orchard Park? Lee, how you doing? Again, thanks for moderating. Patsy Smith in Suffolk, UK. Orchard Park Band. Hi, Lee. This is Tom Moore. I can't figure out how to get my name back. Oh. I'm not sure. Scotty B. Picked up a pair of Bose S1 Pro Plus speakers. Nice. Using one as a monitor and one as mains. Good. Solo guitar vocal. Okay. Can't share the audio across both speakers wirelessly. Any other system's better. Can you not? Let's go to the website because that will help with this. Let me add a new page here for Sweetwater so I don't lose that. Can you not do something like go from the back? You see it's got the line out on there. So can you not go into this one as your main speaker? And you could either go in with a cable or the wireless dongles that you can buy. Why can't you then go out of here, the line out, with from this one, with something like the system I showed on the video last week, the Donna, the really cool Donna system, which is about $100. Why can't you go out of that and then into input 1 or 2 on the monitor and set that flat? And then you're copying the sound to the monitor that you have in front of house. And then what you can do is you can still shape the tone of that floor monitor with the EQ if you need to for your monitor. Wouldn't that make sense? Let me know what you think. Rex says, good afternoon. Looking forward to NAMM depending on the LA situation. Can cancel if they need hotels or airports to clear out a bit. It's interesting. I got an email saying, are you sure you want to go? Because it's your last chance to get a refund on your hotel there now. But I think that was just a standard email. So, yeah, I'm not sure. It's what's actually happening? It's still going on, right? They're still in trouble. For monitoring what NAMM is saying, everything about NAMM is still happening. But I guess anything could change. We've still got 10 days to go, right? So who knows? Burn Smith, eager to hear you talk about NAMM. I think everyone is, but I'm not very excited yet. I must admit, I'm not. I'm just hearing a lot of kind of rehashes. I want to see something new. Speaking of which, Tone Wars is here. He was the first guest on my new podcast, On the Phone with Aaron Short. Check it out. The problem with that is I wanted to put it on the podcasting platforms. So I went on Podbean because I met Podbean years ago at a trade show. And I tell you, it was the biggest pain in the ass. I just couldn't. I'm pretty good. I think I'm really good with technology, with websites and apps and things. It's just like I uploaded it. I did the graphic. I did the file. Great. Okay. Now, do you want to put it on the platforms? Yes. Okay. We've got to pay to put it on Spotify. Okay. Fine. I'll pay $120. All right. Whatever. I'll pay it. Still wouldn't go on there. Email support. Your graphic is the wrong size. Well, it's the size that you told me to make it. I'm just going to get a refund. I can't be bothered with this. And they came back and said, we've resized it for you. Don't go. Okay, fine. So I tried again. Still didn't work. I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do it. And spending more money on something, I just can't do it. So I got a refund. And now it just lives on my YouTube channel under playlist under podcasts. So please take a listen to that if you want to. I've got ideas for more people to have on. And to our friend that said the other person's audio could be better, read the title. It's On the Phone Podcast. No names mentioned, but you can find out who he is from the comment section. Oh, lordy. Wallace, what's up, buddy? On the cruise ship? Lee says, hi, Thomas. Hope you're having a good vacation. Oh, right, nice. Quilted Maple. Happy Monday. Martin videos everywhere. I've seen some of them. I got a few things to say about them. Stay tuned. Jeremy V. Look at that. Channel just showed up my feed. Cheers. Well, that means that YouTube are promoting me. Thank you, YouTube. And thank you, Jeremy. Tell us about yourself. What do you play? Orchard Park Band. Aaron, this is Thomas Moore. Okay, great. I set up a channel for my band and okay, you need to log back into your own account, I guess. Yeah, you need to log back into the other one. Or just use this one, subscribe on this one as well. Jeremy V, have you heard about the MXR Rockman pedal? I have heard about it. It's supposed to sound like the legendary Rockman X100 that was used on countless classic albums back in the 80s. Yep, I've heard about it. Is it out yet? It got leaked early, didn't it? Definitely seeing a lot of reissues lately from all companies, which doesn't help me get into the future with this stuff. Oh, he's back from vacation. Very good. Scotty said that might work. Yeah, I think it will. I don't see why it won't. And I love that. I do love that Donna system a lot. Virginia and Nathan, those speakers are great. Really carry well. I have mixed feelings about the Bose S1 Pro stuff. Like, if you want the absolute lightest option for a solo acoustic gig, then that's the way to go. But if you want a bit more headroom, if you want more app control, then the eVerse 8 is the way to go. So I still have and use both. But the eVerse 8 for me is the one I use the most, I think. Even though I want to... Well, that's not true. There's a gig that I'm doing where I need to travel light now. And I've been taking the eVerse and my bigger bag of cables, and I've realized I don't need to. So I'm gonna make 3 rigs basically. The mini rig, which is just the Bose system and my guitar and a few cables in my bag, and then I'm gonna have my medium small rig, which is the one step up from that, which is the eVerse 8 and my regular gigging bag with my Voice Live 3 Extreme, and then the full PA rig, which is the QSC K8.2 and that bag. So small, medium, and large I'm gonna have. But they are all excellent systems. Kevin, how you doing? It's snowing there. Oh dear. I've not been out today, so I don't know what's happening outside here. I know it's cold at night. Scotty B, assuming you've dabbled with both, do you like the eVerse Evolve or Bose S1 Pro? Well, I think I just answered your question. I didn't even know you asked it. I'm psychic. Honestly, they're both good. You know, I've been saying this a lot lately. With all the questions that come in throughout the comment section and the live stream, it just simply depends on what you're doing. Everyone needs to get in their head there is no best. I mean, there might be best for you. There's no best piece of gear. There might be the best piece of gear for you. In fact, there definitely is. And even then, there might be other options. So like I just said, I've been using the eVerse 8. I'm very happy with it. Is it better for me than the QSC with my pedal? No, it's not better than that. That's a louder, more pro expensive piece of gear. and you can hear that reflected in the sound. The eVerse 8 is a really nice compromise that gets close enough for most people. But the QSC is still £5 lighter again. So if I need to travel light, if I want to take the subway in and out, it makes way more sense to take the Bose, a loop pedal, and the guitar and just go for it, even if that costs me some functionality. Boomer's here. Good to see you. Oh, you got the original one. That's cool. Be good. I like when people compare the original version to the reissue version. They're usually very close or close enough, aren't they? I play the guitar mainly and loving the Tonex pedal at the moment. Yeah, that's a great pedal. I just asked a question actually in the group. Can you, because I've got to do a video on it. I was saying, can you adjust the input impedance? I don't think you can, which is a shame, but that's not the end of the world. I think it's more like an automatic thing, especially on the mini one. I don't know about the bigger one, if you can do that. I don't know if you know. How do you pack the Voice Live 3 and Bose S1 Pro? Any special bags? No, I have a backpack that I spoke about a few months ago from Amazon. Very cheap one. Here's the thing. Those expensive, beautiful backpacks that you can buy from places like Mono are heavy. Straight away, they weigh £5. Now, I'm not dissing them because they are more protective for that reason. For that reason, they're more protective. But they're still £5. That's pretty heavy before you even put your pedal in it, right? So the one I got from Amazon is way cheaper. It's like 1/10 of the price, and it's 1/3 of the weight. And I'll just replace it as needed. It makes way more sense to me, personally. Paisley, how you doing? Thanks for your info. Greetings from England. Very cool. Question of the day. Appreciate that you like aspects of both, but for overall vocal quality, Extreme, for Voice Live Extreme or Headrush Core? For overall vocal quality, Voice Live Extreme for me, because two reasons really. One, it's got that automatic tone adjust, which is really good. You'll notice when I did a review of the wireless system this week, our friend David made a comment that the mic doesn't sound good. The thing about that mic, the thing about most mics actually, most vocal mics, when you plug them straight in, sound kind of muffled. They don't sound brilliant and sparkly. You don't really want them to. You really want to add that later on with EQ because you might have a thin voice that wants more warmth. So I hear some ringing in this room. So I really like what that does to my mic automatically. It's got an automatic EQ. I don't EQ my voice at all, which I think is really cool. And then on top of that, of course, the vocal effects are very good. They are on a Headrush as well. But you specifically mentioned about vocal quality. So the vocal quality of the automatic EQ on the Voice Live 3 Extreme is really great. I just plug in and go. Is that the best? Could you do better manually? Probably. But I like the simplicity of it. And then with the Headrush Core, you could do all that yourself with the compressors and the EQs. You could maybe do it better. But I just like simplicity. I want to plug in and play whenever I can. So that's why I use that one. Having said that, I was talking about this with someone the other day. If you want a really good USB interface, if you want really good electric amps out of the box, and the clone feature and things like that, I would go for the Core. Although I've heard someone posted a video last week of the Voice Live 3 Extreme playing the backing tracks, and it sounded really good. I was really impressed. Jeremy says you can adjust the input trim on Global. Yes, which I've got the one, but I just want to be able to say in this video if you can adjust the input impedance. I don't think that you can. I know you can. I know you can adjust the input trim on the Global, but you can't set, say, 1 mega ohm, half mega ohm, 10k ohm. You can't do that, right? But that's fine. That's not a deal breaker. TC Helicon does make great stuff. Yes, they do. They did. They do. We hope to see more from them at NAMM. Thanks, ever so helpful. Yeah, welcome. But remember what I said earlier. Not everything is the best for everyone. I've got people I know and trust who completely would disagree with what I just said and say, no, I want full control over the vocal sounds and I'll have nothing else. So, you know, all I can do is testify from the fact that I'm gigging with this stuff and that they're going pretty well, knock on wood. Rex, maybe I should bring my old Rockman to wear on my belt at NAMM, use a wireless transmitter to test guitars, generate some conversations. Go for it, Rex. I mean, it's a good idea to have something with you that you can use to test the guitars, for sure. And some of these little mini amp headphone things can actually also send audio to your phone as well. So you could, in theory, go live and play a guitar at NAMM direct, which is kind of cool. The Fender Micro Plus is awesome, but it doesn't work with acoustic guitars for some weird reason, which is a shame. I don't know why that is. That's very weird. Okay, let's jump over to the NAMM leaks early. I don't like this. I don't like that stuff comes out early before NAMM. I don't like it because, you know, what's the point? I'm going all the way out there. I'm going all the way out there, and then everything's like, oh yeah, I've seen it already. I guess we can touch it and we can see it in real life and we can play it all in one place. That is a nice thing. But I don't know. I think it's I think the company should wait until NAMM opens myself. But I guess now they want to cut through the noise, and the way to do that is to release the week before. Everyone's in that mode of what's coming. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And then they get to focus on those things. So for example, today we had new releases from Martin and QSC. So they're obviously going to get a little bit more exposure. Also, when you're at NAMM, you'll know to go and check them out because you've already heard about them. But I like the element of surprise. I think even Martin, if they announce a load of stuff today and next Monday, they'll still have something to surprise us at the show. I think that's okay. But I don't think the company should announce everything before the show, personally. But maybe that's because I'm going to it, and you know, it cheapens the experience. It lessens the value for me if I can't get the scoop. You know, maybe that's the reason. It probably is. All right. So let's go to the desktop. Let's start with these Martin guitars. Let's see what we think. Right. So what we've got here, we've actually got lots of new releases, but I'll just focus on the standard series today because I've often praised the standard series. And I watched a few of the interviews, like with Fred Green from Martin, and you know, I've got a few things to comment on that. So the first thing is let's focus on the new ones. There's a 00017 and a D17. Okay, and these have been spec'd up, and for the D17 now you're looking at 2299. So that's basically that's more like around what a D18 used to be. So I guess now you can get, for that kind of price, you can get that kind of I should say close to that quality. Obviously, people with the D18 are going to tell me off for saying that, but it's a good option. It's definitely a good option. I think it's good that they've done that. They're filling in that price range. They've actually, with this series, they've filled in the entire price range because look, they've brought back the OM45 for just under $10,000. Now, the OM45 hasn't been around for a long time, and they've brought it back. A lot of people will be happy about that. You know, part of me wants to say, are they going to sell them? Well, I know they will sell them because I just saw one of the John Mayer OM45s sell on Sweetwater for $20K. So if you missed out, if you didn't like, or if you didn't want the John Mayer for whatever reason, the color of it or whatever, you can now get an OM45 standard series for half the price. So that's filled that top of the lane there, which they already had that with the D45. The D45 was that money too. But working your way down from that, your prices are now going in at around $3 to $4. Everything's gone up by about $100, I think, for the price increase, and also for that price increase, you're getting these new features. And then we go down to $2,300 because these are made in Nazareth. These are made in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. So that's a smart move in that regard. But what about what they've actually changed on these? I mean, let's go to a guitar that I'm very familiar with. Oh, one thing worth noting is, in fact, let me move my head so you can see the guitars. One thing worth noting is they've killed off the M36. I don't really know why they've done this. I can assume why they've done it. They've introduced 2 new M guitars for artists, for Johnny Marr, and maybe some other artist models of the M. So I presume all efforts of the M are going to that, and that's also filling up enough of the market for the M, because the M isn't their best seller, I'm sure. So that makes, I think it's sad. The M, I haven't found an M yet that I like, but they kind of lean towards what I do like on paper. And I think it's a shame that it's gone from the standard series. I'm pretty sure they'll bring it back in a couple of years, but who knows? Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll do something else. So let's take, for example, the OM28, because I'm very familiar with that. So, a few things they've done here. First of all, they've angled the nut. So rather than just being squared off, they've angled it down, so it's rounded down, therefore the strings have a greater break angle. That makes a lot of sense. I haven't seen that done before, but it makes a lot of sense. And it's one way you can tell which ones are the new 25 models and which ones are the older reimagined series. So they've angled the nut down. Okay, headstock is the same. On the fretboard, they have they made it a thinner fretboard like the Modern Deluxe series. I'm doing this by memory, by the way. They've done a thinner fretboard like the Modern Deluxe series, but they've added more mass to the neck to bring it back to the same size as the standard series, so they're not thinner. Some people don't like the Modern Deluxe neck. They're quite thin. I didn't like them at first. I don't mind them now. I'm much more accepting this year of neck sizes with the guitars. I'll play a V-neck if it feels right, and I'll play a skinny neck if it feels right. I don't think you can just label them in one. You can't just pigeonhole them, I don't think. So, also beveled edges, worn in edges, so it feels like it's been played for a while, which is nice. I don't know if I would be able to tell, honestly, but I do, you know, I've had that on Stratocasters, and I like how they feel. So I think that's a nice touch. And then if we go on to another picture, these are all very small upgrades that most people won't even notice, but they add up to quite an upgrade. The heel is thinner. Now, I do like this. I like that the heel is thinner. I'd have to see it in person compared to the older ones. But for me, on an acoustic guitar, the thinner the heel, the better. Because that means when you play up the neck, you can play up there. Now, some people will say on a Martin, you don't play up the neck. Some people have actually said that to me. I don't agree. I think it's very important. And especially when you get into a cutaway, that thinner heel is going to feel better on a cutaway. But there are no cutaways. And I think that's a real shame. I think there should be an OMC and an HDC cutaway in the standard series. And I think that would go really well with this new rolled neck, rolled fingerboard, and thinner heel. That would be a great guitar. Don't know why they haven't done it. Now, inside, there are the most changes. Oh, first of all, I want to say they've moved to bridge or ebony, bone or ebony bridge pins. So if they're white, they'll now be bone, and if they're dark, they'll be ebony. Right, great. I've seen so many people complain about this over the years, that they're buying a $3,000 guitar and it comes with, or even a $10,000 guitar, and it comes with plastic pins. Now, I have mixed feelings on this. I've done tests where I compare different pins, and I do think they make a difference to the sound. I'm not going to say they make a better difference or a worse difference. I think it's a good thing they did this, because I think that people that buy a Martin, when it says bone pins and bone saddle, they're going to think, great, that's quality, it's bone. Whereas the minute it says the word plastic, maybe that implies cheap. So I think it's smart they've done it. I don't really mind either way. I might change my mind over the years as I play different bridge pins. But the thing about bridge pins that I discovered a while ago about the Modern Deluxe series, which is really interesting, I think, they started having the liquid metal pins, which they said gave more volume and bass response, I think. But I spoke to a very well-regarded luthier about that, and they told me that the thing is they're quite heavy. And the mass, you don't really want that mass on the top of the guitar, because the top of the guitar is what resonates. And having the heavy pins in there are going to weigh the top down. So, I don't know, I mean, that's something I need to look into more, but it makes sense. So for me, plastic pins weren't a problem because A, they've used them for years, and B, they're so light, they're not weighing down your top at all. So I have mixed feelings about that, but I do think to the customer, where the customer is now coming along and looking at spending $3,500 on an OM28 guitar, that's a substantial amount of money, especially plus tax if you don't get a good deal. If you find one in a store you love and they won't give you a discount, and you have to pay tax because it's a local store, that's going to be a decent amount of money. So I think the fact that it's got the bone pins adds a sense of value, even though maybe they're not that expensive to buy yourself and just put in there. But they're definitely, the $100 increase on these is definitely offset with things like that. And then finally, I believe, oh no, the bridge is different. The bridge is more rounded, like a vintage style golden era bridge. I don't really see how that can be more comfortable, because the worst thing for me is when the saddle is sharp. Some of my saddles stick out a bit too much for my liking. I don't really have a problem with the bridge itself, but I guess it'll probably look better and look more vintage and might look nicer. So that's cool. And I think the last thing, so there's quite a few little minor tweaks here. The last thing is inside the sound hole in the bracing. They've all got golden era bracing. I must admit, I've never really thought about golden era bracing before. This is in the modern deluxe guitars. This is something that's obviously, well, there's authentic bracing, and then there's the golden era bracing. They're all slightly different. But golden era bracing, according to the videos, means that there's more wood-to-wood contact. The bracing fits tighter and better. And then your standard series bracing doesn't quite fit as well. We've seen that if you look inside the guitars. There can sometimes be little gaps. But my thoughts on, I've got two thoughts on this, and let me know what you think about this in the comments. First of all, if the golden era bracing all those years ago back was so good, why didn't they always use it? That's my first question. Why is it not being used in their standard guitars to this day, if it's that good? And second of all, how have they managed to do this? Because a golden era bracing upgrade as part of a custom shop is, well, I heard Fred Green say it would normally be like hundreds of dollars. So how are they doing this? And also, I also read that I saw a video with the custom shop where they said that the golden era bracing is done by hand. I don't know if the standard series is done by hand or by machine. More and more is being done by machine now, so I think it's done by machine. So if they're now got to do more work in creating the bracing of the golden era, is that not going to add a lot more time? And time is money with the guitar construction. So they must have found a way around that. Either they found a way to automate that with CNC, or I don't know. I don't get that, because that's the quote I heard. The features in this guitar would be $700 at the custom shop. Right. So how are you doing that for $100 more? There's got to be something to it. You know, I know some of it is that they're buying the new pins in mass, and some of the tweaks are just small tweaks that don't really affect the costs. But things like that, if that was a substantial upgrade before, I wonder how they're doing it. And also, what does it sound like? Does it necessarily sound better? That's the other question. And that's really hard to answer, because as I always say, all guitars, all acoustic guitars especially, sound completely different to me, even within the same series. So it's very hard to do a comparison. But they're saying that the guitar will resonate more and have even more bass. I mean, that Martin guitars already have a lot of that already. I don't know if they can have even more of that. I don't know. I'm really on the fence. I really need to play one to know those things. But I mean, look, they could have just increased the price by $100. They've increased the price by $100, and they've also added a lot of value. For me, though, I'd like to see more, but I always say this. I would like to have seen some cutaways, because these are the standard series, but cutaways are not, it's not like they're alien guitars, right? So I wish they'd done just a couple of cutaways again. And for me, I'm going to say it again, I wish they'd done the stainless steel frets. If you want that, if you want the frets, you need to go to the modern deluxe series. So maybe that's what they're thinking. If people want the carbon fiber bridge plate and the stainless steel frets, they'll go and buy a modern deluxe. Yes, that's cool. So maybe a modern deluxe with a cutaway would be a better way to go, but that's a bit more modern. And then keep the standard series, because that's like the down the line model. Someone said to me the other day in a comment that they preferred, and I've actually heard this said by a few people, they preferred the standard series guitar because that must be the best because that's what Martin deemed the standard. I don't think the name implies that they're the gold standard. I think it implies that they're the standard. It's the standard. It's the one that's right for everyone. Like you hand this guitar to anyone watching this video and they'll say, yep, that's good to go. Whereas if you hand them a modern deluxe, they might say, oh, why are the frets gold and why is the neck a bit thinner and why has it got this and why has it got that? That's what the standard series is. The standard series is the middle of the road Martin guitar right down the middle, which is good enough for 90% of people. To me, that's what the standard series is. And it proves my point because they've now made quite a drastic change to the bracing. So obviously the standard series wasn't the gold standard before because they've now changed the bracing. So there we go. Just wanted to throw that in there. All right, so that's the new standard series. There's other guitars as well that I won't talk about today. I'll report on them from the NAMM show next week. And also next week, there'll be another bunch of guitars announced. And I'm sure there'll be some surprises at the show as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be posting some videos, some clips, and also live streams from the floor next week. So make sure you follow along with that. All right, and having said that, let me know what you think of all that in the chat. Thanks, Jeremy. Just subbed. Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love buying guitars, but after I got my Music Man Luke 3, I hardly play my other ones. It just plays and sounds so great. Guitar always stays in tune with no locking nut, no trem. See, that's exactly where I'm at these days. If I can find one acoustic and one electric that ticks all the boxes, and I won't say perfectly because there's no perfect guitar. If I can find that ticks the boxes enough, I'm happy just to basically have those guitars. I really, at this point, I really am. I'm very frustrated that, I mean, for example, the standard series, you can get them with the Bags Anthem, which is a great pickup system. But for me, I want to see like a Martin standard series where they're all available as a cutaway or a non-cutaway, and they all come with some simple pickup that sounds fantastic, so you can just plug in and go. I just think it's frustrating to have to buy a guitar for $4,000 and then find a pickup that you like and have it installed by a luthier. It's just, you know, I think in 2025 these things should just be in there. Now the thing is, if they start to do that, they'd have to spend a lot more money, and I understand that concept as well, that Martin cannot possibly make all of the standard series in a cutaway, and also if they add pickup systems, some people might not want them, and they also will add more costs to the guitar and more time to make guitars, and they're probably behind still already on making guitars. So I understand that concept. I do. I just find it frustrating as a buyer that if I buy one of these, I've got to install the strap button, the pickup, and once the frets wear down, have it refretted or have stainless steel frets installed. I really think stainless steel frets should just be the norm now. A quick thing about that I want to throw in here. So my standard series with the stainless steel frets that I ordered is fantastic. But I was expecting my stainless steel frets to be perfectly smooth and polished like they are on a Suhr guitar. Suhr, because stainless steel frets still start out the same as regular frets, they have to be polished, heavily polished and crowned and everything to be like a diamond. And maybe some people don't like that. So I noticed on the guitar I've got, my custom shop, that they just look like regular frets, and they even have some slight wear in them. Now, there's no way I've worn them down after 2 months, but I think maybe Martin, maybe they install them and then they don't shine them up like a Suhr guitar would. And so they'll just stay like that, and you don't feel anything, they're fine to play, and they'll just stay that way forever. That's fine. But a little part of me is concerned that they're not stainless steel frets, and they put the wrong frets in, and the problem is I have no way of checking, so I now have to play that guitar for a year to monitor it to see if the frets start to wear, and then if the frets start to wear, I have to say, look, I don't think these are and there's no way to prove it either way. So that's a bit of a disaster in my opinion. I guess the worst case scenario is Martin will just refret it for me with the frets that should have been put in the first place. But there we go. On the other hand, if they are stainless steel frets, it answers my question about, can you tell the difference? Because I honestly don't know. It sounds great. There's nothing to imply to me that they are not regular frets. even down to the fact that there's a little bit of there's a little like dent. It's very small. You have to get in with a magnifying glass. You can see a slight dent in the fret. You don't see that in the Sir guitars. So if it does, if they don't wear anymore for a year or two, and they're fine, then the answer is there that you can't tell the difference. If they do wear, then I've got to get my guitar refretted. So that sucks. And there's no way to check really what they did. So maybe someone at NAMM will have that written down, but you just don't know. What if the person on the day put in different frets? Bizarre. Bizarre. All right. As Martin has redone the angle of the nut, is this something people who bought one 2 weeks ago? I was thinking this as well. If you bought one of these 2 weeks ago, that's the other thing about NAMM, right? People get annoyed that NAMM, at NAMM they show stuff and they say, when can I buy one? And they say, May. And there's this whole joke about NAMM means not available, maybe May. Because if Martin had done that, if they'd announced these and said these are shipping in May or even July or August, then people already bought one. Well, I guess they'll lose money because people won't buy the current one and they'll have months of not selling guitars. That's why they do it. And I will say this, if you're happy with the standard series you bought a week ago, then keep it. Because it's totally possible that you can compare the new standard series to your one you just bought and love and not like it as much. Perfectly possible. So don't worry about that. If you are within some kind of return window, like with Sweetwater, you could consider trying the new one, but I don't know. I really believe if you like what you have, then stick with it. Like I've owned a couple of Authentics. They're not here anymore. And they had authentic bracing and all this stuff, thinner tops and all this stuff that's meant to be incredible. Yes, they're incredible in a certain way, but they weren't for me. So don't worry about if you already bought a standard series last week. Now, in regards to changing that, yeah, you could have someone. I mean, anything can be changed on a guitar. You could even rebrace your guitar if you wanted to. You could, all the changes on this guitar could be made to your existing guitar. You could have the nut sloped. You could roll the edges of the fingerboard. You could install one of the new bridges if you were so inclined. You could go in there and I know people that have further scalloped the braces of their guitars. None of this would I advise you to do, by the way, unless you're a guitar builder. But you could have it done. There's nothing in the new one that makes me like. They're nice. They've done a good thing here. They've made a lot of nice little improvements that aren't crucial to anyone, in my opinion. But it adds up to a value where they can then raise the price a little bit. And everyone's thinking, well, that's fine. They gave us this value, especially when they say things like this would have been a $700 value and it's $100. So that's what they've done here. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, if you've got a standard series that you don't like, I would consider selling it or trading it in and getting one of the new ones. If you like how they sound, that's the thing. If you find one that you like. Doc, how you doing? Still sad you're not going to NAMM, buddy? Now, I saw this too, and I got, we'll bring this one up with us. I got excited for this. I saw Retro Plus, Boomer, and I thought, great, they brought back the retro guitars made in Mexico with IRs again, with a new IR technology. I was so excited. It's got nothing to do with the old retro series at all. Yeah, exactly. It's just got the E1. E1's a decent budget pickup, but it's not what the retros had in their technology. I think it's a mistake naming the retro series. Bringing back that name is a mistake, I think. Because retro was all about the fact that these guitars had models of vintage Martins from the factory as IRs in them. That's what the retro was. And to call a retro that again and not have, yeah. And you're right. I think people might order them thinking that that's what it is, and that's not what it is. So I didn't like that either. Well, can you tell us? The E1 is just it's basically their version of, like, they used to have the Fishman sonotone with the tuner. That's their version. I do actually like the E1 a little bit more if you go back to last year, I reviewed a Martin, one of the Mexican guitars with the E1, and my thoughts are in that video. I quite liked it. It was decent. It was good. I prefer it to the old system, but with what I do, I would immediately take out and install something else like the Hi-Fi Duet, right? So, but it's nice. It's not bad. Pro Tools is the industry standard. Exactly, and I use Logic, so there you go. It's not the best, nor does it have all the features. When you walk into a studio, you know what to expect. Yes, that's what standard means. A lot of musicians think that standard means like that's the one, that's the end goal, that's it, that's the gold standard. That is not the case at all with this naming. The naming means this is our, I hate to say it, but it really means this is like our middle of the road. And that sounds incredibly disrespectful to Martin, because the Martin Standard Series guitars are world-class, fantastic guitars, yes. But to them, you know, like a 30 grand custom shop is, but I know, I've seen that said by a few people lately, and I don't agree with it. That's all. It's a small thing. Pro Tools is old-fashioned. Ableton does a studio in real time on stage. Yeah, Ableton's good for stage. But I would agree, Pro Tools is still the standard of DAWs in studios. Yes. But I also like Logic. I think Logic's great. Do you think the carbon fiber bridge plate on Modern Deluxe would have a positive or negative effect for the Duet? I've heard stories of people installing transducer pickups on those plates, and they're fine. But first thing I would do is call LR Bags, because they'll have customers that have reported back to them. So I'd call LR Bags and say, what do you think about the Hi-Fi Duet in a Modern Deluxe guitar? I would definitely ask them first. Oh, I heard a recording the other day on Facebook. Someone installed it and it sounded absolutely brilliant. It sounded better than my install. Remember with these pickups, they can all sound different in different guitars as well. The one I heard online was fantastic. I've forgotten who it was, but it was just a customer, and it sounded great. DE Retro Plus Mahoganies and the Road Series Trofeo Top. Let's take a quick look then. There's three other products I want to go, or two other products I want to go over, but let's just go back to that site again. Because yeah, there's more than just the standard series. I'm bad to not mention those as well. I think there's some other things here too, right? Well, maybe there's definitely more going to be announced soon. So yeah, so you, like me, you were hoping this was a new retro guitar, but sadly not. These are right. Remember I mentioned earlier about having these price points for different customers. So here's your price point around just under 2,000. If you want to go under 1,000, you go to the Mexican series, the one I reviewed last year. If you want to go around under 2,000, you go to the Retro Plus. It's got a pickup as well. And then if you want to go up to 22 and up, then you get into that 17, and then at 3 you get into the 18, or around 3. So let's see what this is. I read it again though. I've forgotten. So it's got a torrefied top, solid spruce. That's cool for that money. What you think about torrefication varies with different people. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it, but it does add value for sure. Because it's, like I said, it's a premium feature. They seem to be linking a lot into their authentic and modern deluxe. They're leaning into that heavily here. They're saying, hey, you know, you've got those authentic guitars you've heard about that are 10 grand, and those modern deluxe guitars you've heard about that are 5 grand. Well, we put some of those features on these guitars, so that makes these more valuable. I get it. Although I did read one press release today, or one article where it said that some of the features on the standard series have only been available before on modern deluxe guitars, some of which are over $10,000. Yeah, but that's a D45 modern deluxe. You can't compare that to an OM, you know, an OM28, a D28. Oh, that's what I meant to say. The D28 now has scallop bracing. How bizarre is that? So I guess we're talking about golden era guitars. So I suppose back in the day of the golden era, the D28 had scallop bracing. But ever since the 60s, they've had non-scallop bracing. It's become a characteristic of that model to have the non-scallop bracing. You would get the HD28 for the scallop bracing, the herringbone, and the different inlay, which I think looks way nicer anyway, personally. But it's quite bizarre now because the D28, you've got to remember this. I'm just going to go over this, BMO. This is important. And I'm going to prove it on the site. I thought it was a mistake, but it's here on the specs. Look, D28. If we go down to the specs here, brace shape, golden era scallop. Let me move my big head. Brace shape, golden era scallop bracing. So a D28 was always non-scalloped. But I guess because they're talking about golden era bracing, that's period correct for the D28. The old D28s, the really old ones, for a while, that super lusted after Martin year, where they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars, they were scalloped. So this is now scalloped. That's confusing. I think they should have made an exception and left it non-scallop, because there are people that like the non-scallop bracing. I'm not one of them, but there are people that are fans of that. One thing worth noting as well is that the D35 is the only guitar, I think. Wait, did I look at the right one? Yeah, scalloped. I think the D35 is the only one now that isn't scalloped then. So why didn't they just scallop that as well? I guess because you've got the HD35, so you don't need, so then you have, but again, what's the difference? Well, it's got to be because of the time again, hasn't it? Because the D35 was not around in the golden era, so they can afford to keep that as a non-scallop guitar. So they're being period correct, which I think is important with a brand like Martin, for sure. I just want to confirm that here. D35. I'd like to try this one for sure. There, golden era non-scalloped. So if you want a non-scalloped guitar now, you've got to go for the D35. Interesting. I assume that I'm right, but I may be wrong, of course. So retro. There's so many. Retro Plus. Okay, so again, 1900 pickup system, but it's not the Aura system, and you're going to probably want to upgrade it, honestly. This is for someone that wants to spend around 2,000 and go on stage straight away. You're going to have your strap button installed, like I was complaining about earlier. You're going to have the pickup and the strap button. You can go and play a gig immediately. But are you going to want to change that pickup out? Possibly. And you can, but that's going to add more money. At that point, why not just get one of the standard series with the pickup system? So you could go standard series. Pretty sure I saw one with a pickup earlier. But then again, you're pushing up towards 4,000, so I get it. And you get either the VT Enhance or the Anthem. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought exactly the same thing. Retro Plus Mahogany is in the Rhodes series with a torrified top. Yeah, that's what we just looked at. Yeah. Okay, so it's a Rhodes series guitar. Yeah, so they're just meeting different. It seems to me they're pushing more into the premium range, because let's face it, if they sold 300 of those Maya guitars at 20K, that's a good year's work, versus selling a bunch of guitars with less profit margin at lower prices. So I think that's where they're going, but they're still fulfilling those middle brackets. For example, if you want to spend $2,000, you can get the Retro Plus Mahogany. That looks like a decent guitar for the, it looks like a good guitar for the money. Shouldn't say decent. The specs are good. You know, you've got, well, it's not a dovetail neck joint, I will say that, but it's torrified. It's got the pickup. It's got the PA neck shape, 1 3/4 inch. So I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I would get a D18. But a D18 is $1,000 more. You know what I'd probably do at this point? I'd get a used D18 from a few years ago that someone's blowing out for $1,800 and then put a pickup in it, like one of the Bags pickups or the Fishman Sandhole pickup that I like. I'd do something like that. I like Studio One right now is my favorite door, but Ableton's great too. Cool. All right, let's move on to the other news. The other releases. So there's a lot from Martin and more to come. Right. This was out today. So QSC were teasing something and I got really excited. I was hoping for a new mixer or K8.2. Not really, because I want to buy them. I don't want to upgrade my rig. I don't really need to. But they've actually they haven't done that. They've moved into the column PA market. Now I know why they've done this, because it's an incredibly popular market. The funny thing is, I was just thinking, I don't use these. I like these systems, but I don't use them. I find it way easier just to have with me a K8.2 on a pole. I don't really need the additional subwoofer and the array stuff. I don't really. I mean, it'd be nice. I've often thought about getting an EV30 or an EV50. I might check them out at NAMM. But size-wise, this is going to be just quite awkward to carry. Well, I don't know. I guess you don't need a pole with it. You don't need the speaker stand, and everything's built in. So maybe I'm wrong, but there's definitely a huge market for these because they are an all-in-one. They do cover your sub, and they're good for DJs and all that kind of karaoke stuff. They're saying it's 3,000 watt, which is a huge claim to make. So $2,000, 3,000 watts. Does it say the weight on here? $132 max SPL. Let me just turn my video off. Hang on. DSP provides parametric EQ and control and a reverb effect. Yeah, but see, I don't think there's an app with all those functions that the EV has. It's got presets and some basic stuff. So I don't know. I'd like to know what the weight is. I don't think they've got that yet. No. I don't know. This is going to be a hard one. I'd like to hear it. I won't write it off straight away, but the EV has got so much of the market, as has Bose. This has got to be really good at 2,000. I mean, I love QSC, but this is like the new era of QSC, and we've got $2,000 here. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to hit with all these speakers. You have to hear them, but if there's not an app with all those advanced mixer controls, I think that's a mistake, because we're used to having them on the other ones. You see, it's got a regular screen. There's no color screen. There's 2 inputs. I mean, I really want 4 inputs on something like this. Well, there's 3 technically. So I mean, this is basically going to replace, for me, or replace my K8 speaker, PA speaker. I can replace it with this and have a column speaker. That's basically what it does. They've added Bluetooth as well, streaming, which is nice. That should really be on the QSC K8 as well. I think it will be eventually. But I don't know. They haven't released enough info. So I don't like that about this release. There's not enough info. It's like a teaser almost. Like, is there an app? If there's an app, it makes the whole world of difference, you know? What's the weight of it? Is there a bag with it? Does it pack away? I wish they'd answered all these questions today. They haven't. But if there is no app, but it's 2,000 and it's on the heavy side, I don't know if it's going to compete with what we've already got on the market, honestly, because they're so ingrained. I would have rather seen new PA speakers from them because I love their PA speakers. But we'll see. We need to see more information before I comment on that, really. But it's nice to see QSC still releasing products, and I hope that means we'll see more from them in the future. All right, so I got one more thing to show. Oh, this isn't new. They've been talking about this for ages, but Cole Clark are really investing heavily in their studio recording series. So these are Cole Clarks that sound louder, more like traditional guitars, basically. That's the angle they're going for. And they've already released a bunch of these. They've got some Groon guitars in mahogany and rosewood. But the one I'm really interested in is the master grade Blackwood. Because I like Blackwood on Australian guitars. I like Australian Blackwood a lot. Yeah, I've had it on Maitons and I've had it on Cole Clark's. I like how it sounds with just the way they build their guitars. And I think it looks really nice too. So I hope they have one of these or two of these at the show. I really want to check this out. I hope it has the kind of complexity of the Blackwood, Cole Clark's and Maitons that I've heard before, but with a bit more of the volume and then their excellent pickup system. This could be really, really cool. If the neck feels right and everything, this could be a great guitar. I'm definitely going to check these out on the first day. Yeah. So that was announced a while ago, but that's not been shown at the show before. So I wanted to give that a shout out as well. All right. So over the week, you'll see some more leaks. I've heard rumors of leaks from other companies. I was watching Henning. He said, I don't want to get him in trouble, but a couple of YouTubers have actually said on their streams that there's some stuff coming from companies. And you'll probably hear about that during the week. They're not going to announce them on Friday. You'll hear about those tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, I imagine. Especially Wednesday is a big day for news, or traditionally. So watch out during the week for that. And then I will be away. I'll be traveling next week. I will not be here. So if you want to follow along, you could follow me on social, but I'll probably post in the community section of the YouTube channel. I'm definitely going to go live, I think, on the Thursday, maybe other days as well, if it goes well. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that with a high quality stream. So I might post a few little things throughout the week, but I'm mostly going to post next week when I get back. Maybe not Monday because I'll be fresh off the plane, but the following Monday or during that week, I'll post any video that I took. And then the following Monday, I'll do my roundup video probably. So quickly say, if you are new here, subscribe and ring the bell. The cutaway looks great. Yeah, I like that. I think a guitar looks awesome. I hope it sounds really good. Like talking about one guitar that does all for me would be something like that. If it really satisfied me acoustically, and I know it will satisfy me plugged in because I love the Cole Clark pickup system, something like that for me could be the ultimate. The only thing it won't have is stainless steel frets, which I think a deluxe guitar should have, but I guess, again, you can always have that installed later on. Ugh, hate it. This new Cole Clark is 100% vegan. Did you know that? Oh, I saw that clip where Miles was talking about them. He said they're 100% vegan, no plastic. But he didn't have that one. I hope he has that one at the show. I love let me just show it again. I love this. I mean, very shallow of me. I love the look of it. I wish there were more pictures too. But I love the inlay. They used to have that on their older guitars. So you've got the dark inlay, but then the fret markers are the lighter inlay, the rectangles. This rosette, I don't like it as much on the plain top guitars, but I think it looks great on this guitar because of the white and brown colors. And yeah, I just think it looks great. And my only question is, what color are the fret marker dots? I'm going to guess that they're white, which is great again. I think this could be really cool. I'll say it now. If they have one of these and I love it, there's a small chance that I would bring one back with me. It's very, very nice. I don't think they'll let me because I want to show it to their dealers, but I would definitely order one. But it'd have to sound. That's the thing. It'd have to sound excellent and plugged in and excellent unplugged, and it also would have to feel excellent as well. Because something like that, I would want to get rid of all my other Cole Clarks and just have that guitar, basically. That would be the goal for that. If not, I'm going to stick with the guitar that I've already got. I've got a couple that I really like. So thank you, my friend. Yes, I hope all is well. We just have to wait and see what happens, won't we? Miss Lee, just got my Angel 3 custom made late last year. Already want this new one. There you go. How long were you waiting for that? How long was the order? Was it like 3 months? And this is the problem with ordering a custom guitar as well, because look at me. Last January, I ordered my custom Martin stainless steel fret OMC, and it came in a month or two ago. And now what's happened? NAMM has come around again a year later, which in reality is only 2 months later because I just got the guitar. and they're saying, oh, by the way, like you ordered the standard series, Martin, with a colorway and stainless steel frets. Well, we now have a new standard series. It's kind of, now I'm thinking, oh, I should have waited. I could have got the golden era bracing. I could have got the bone pins. I could have got this. But, you know, like I said earlier, you can't think like that. It's like the new iPhone comes out and you want to get it. I mean, traditionally, I have always got it, but you can't think like that. And also with guitars, they all sound different. You might have a D18 from 97 that sounds incredible. You know, you just can't think like that. You end up broke. 3 to 4 months for Angel 3, right? And you're in Australia, yeah. Yeah, try to check out those. I'm really interested in this one. I'm going to be doing a video comparing the Studio Series to the Standard Series for Cole Clark pretty soon. And that's interesting to hear the differences. But this is a new model with this all black. Because I was thinking, the thing about those guitars is they're great, but I like the blackwood. So the fact that these are blackwood, that excites me. And also the fact that I think they look better in blackwood. Like if you look at it in, let me see here. If you look at this one, spruce and rosewood, you know, it's fine, but it's not as interesting. And the rosette looks a little bit odd to me on that guitar compared to on this guitar. I think that looks awesome. I really think it looks great. And there's also a deluxe. So the master grade is that one. Then there's 2 deluxe guitars as well. Yeah, that looked good in person last year, but that's not my preference. I like the blackwood a lot, and you actually see there the side of it if they got white dots or not. It must have. I can't tell, but it must have. But yeah, I think that looks awesome. All right, Miss Lee. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone has a good week. And like I said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell because that will tell you when I go live. I might just go live randomly. There might be something incredible at the show that I need to show there and then. I might just go live. So subscribe and ring the bell and then turn on all notifications for YouTube. That way it'll just pop up. Aaron Short is live and you can jump on the live stream. I'm sure I can do a Q&A. I'm sure I can check out some brand new stuff that isn't released yet. And I'll definitely jump on the live on the YouTube channel if that comes up. I'll also take some videos too. Oh yeah, I forgot. Rex said, see you at NAMM. If you have time, I'll buy you a beer or coffee. Great. I'll be around at night, around the hotel bar, because that's where a lot of people hang out and socialize after the event. Only problem with that is the bands are so loud. So make sure you bring earplugs with you. Not necessarily for the show floor, but for the bands at night. You think someone like NAMM would be thinking about musicians hearing, but they tend to really blast the live music at night. It's crazy. At least they did last year. All right, I'm going to wrap up. I've got a few things to take care of this week before I go away. I'm hoping to get some videos up for some companies that I'll be meeting with there because I don't want to get there and say I didn't do your video. So you can watch out for that. This week, I think I'm just playing Wednesday and Sunday, so I'm going to have some time to sit and do that. And hopefully sell some more gear as well to get the backlog cleared out for the new year. And maybe at NAMM I'll find the one. The one. Maybe this is the time. This will be the one. We'll see. Cheers, Dale. All right, take care, everyone. Take care and be well. Thanks for joining me. Great stream as always. Thanks for your comments, questions. Hope you learned something. I know that I did. And I'll see you around next week. I'll see you on the live streams. Can't wait. Take care. Bye-bye.
Six-string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I?